Sir, matters to be stated in prospectus. Sir, we got to know what is prospectus. Sir, we got to know what is the matters to be included in prospectus. As it is, there is nothing put in that, but it is just there. So that it's just like a section which you need to know. In that, the main subsection which you need to remember section 26, subsection 5, expert statement. Somewhere here and there will be certain questions which will be asked. Okay, sir. Sir, now listen carefully. Now take a fresh page, do a landscape, not a horizontal one, do a vertical one. Sorry, horizontal one. Yeah, do a landscape and start writing misstatements in prospectus. Misstatements in prospectus. Misstatement in a prospectus. Sir, what do you mean by misstatement? Sir, without knowledge or wantedly or unknowingly or knowingly, I did a mistake. Whatever information given in prospectus is wrong. Now what will happen? Or I may not have given complete information. So, two differences. Whatever I have given is wrong, or I have missed to give essential information, important information. I have not given it in the prospectus. Now, what will happen? What will happen? Now, right. Very important topic. Yeah. So, listen. Landscape. Okay, sir. Sir, what do you mean by misstatement? Any information provided in prospectus is is Varshini, there is a section, I'll write it. There is no specific for misstatement, but there is classification. There are sections. We'll write misleading, untrue, or false, or whatever you call it, man. It is a misstatement. Failure to disclose. Failure to disclose. Material fact. Material fact. It is also called as omission. So what do you mean by misstatement? Any information provided in prospectus is misleading, or it is not true, or it is false, or you have omitted, meaning you have not given at all. All this can be considered as a misstatement. Sir, okay, I have given a misstatement. That is, these four I have done. Now what? Now there are two liabilities on you. If there is a misstatement in a prospectus, that is whatever you have done, it would attract two things. Yeah, left side one is a little short, right side one is where all the information is. So try to keep your right side more space, left side it is less only. Sir, it would attract criminal liability as per section 34 of Companies Act, or it is and or it can be both, or it can be anyone, as the case may be. Both are possible. And or civil liability. Civil liability. Section 35. Both the sections important. Remember. Yeah. Okay. Which section says that a subsidiary company cannot hold shares in a holding company? Quick question, all of you. Fastest fingers first. Awesome, Atira. Good. Atira wins the show. Huh. So whenever a question is asked, try not to go and turn the pages. You need to answer with whatever things you remember. Yeah. Alteration of MOA with section. Alteration of MOA with section. With section. Online people. Alteration of MOA. Alteration of AOA. Kamesh, how 6? Alteration of MOA 13, AOA 14. Do not forget. Important. Shifting of registered office with section. 12. Important. Remember. Non-profit organization with section. Section 8. That all of us know, sir, because it is called Section 8 company only. Nonsense. Like that, you need to remember everything. Subsidiary company with section. $287. Okay. Satisfied. Small company. Tell me the limit. Just tell me the minimum limit. Don't want as maybe prescribed. Minimum limit. Small company. Good. 50 lakh and 2 crore. Awesome. Tell me one thing. If at all, I am a member of Nidhi company, will I get documents personally to my address? If at all I am a Nidhi company, will I get documents personally to my address? Aditya, perfect. That was the answer I was looking for. You need to hold a face value of 1000 or 1% of paid up capital. Fees is there. Fees is different. I'm talking about a Nidhi company. Yeah. Every person, write down. Okay. Now quick revision done. Come on. Every person who authorizes, such issue, every person who authorizes such issue shall be liable under section 447. Time and again there is this section coming. It is important. I'll do it after this particular provision is done. What is section 447? Very important. So sir, criminal liability, civil liability. So before writing, I'll just explain you what is this criminal and civil, and then let us write so that you will understand. So guys, now listen. Whenever there is a prospectus, you have issued it to public. Hey public, come. Aaj aao. Please come and subscribe. Banni, shares tagoli, fresh shares. Ivatte bandide. You are marketing, you are promoting your shares. Now, what may happen? You have misstated something. You have either included something or deleted something. Now, because of which something bad has happened. Yeah. Now, something bad has happened. Now, for which you are liable. Sir, when I say you, whoever has authorized that particular prospectus, you will be liable. Sir, now who has authorized? Go for who has signed the prospectus. He will be liable, and we'll see who else will be liable when we come to civil liability. Now, sir, now what is the difference between criminal liability and civil liability? Always remember one thing. Whenever criminal liability is coming into place, in simple terms, criminal liability is something which is very big in nature, very big in nature, and you did it with an intention to defraud. You had an intention to do it, then it is called as criminal liability. You had an intention to do a fraud, that particular intention is called as criminal liability. Basically, that is not there in your syllabus as such. they would have just given civil liability, criminal liability, but they would have explained certain things, but it is not there in Companies Act. They have not given you what is criminal, what is civil. Yeah, only few things to understand. I'm telling you, criminal law in India. Say for example, if there is a murder. Now, murder is considered as a criminal offense. It is a grave thing in nature. And, sir, what is the basic difference between criminal and civil? When will we know? Always remember, guys, if it is a criminal offense, there would be a larger group of people affected. Meaning, something happens and you lose confidence in the system itself. For example, imagine when you are walking on a road, someone comes and someone stabs the person and goes. For the next 1 week, no one will walk in that road. They will keep telling, hey, you know what, this is what has happened in that particular street. Don't go during 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock in the morning. You listen to those things, if I'm not wrong. Now assume in Delhi, there was that Ola case incident where there was a rape. Now what happened? People actually stopped using Ola in certain time. Night times or in the early morning, people stopped using Ola. Why? Always remember, whenever there is a criminal offense, the public lose confidence over the state itself. Meaning the public will lose confidence over the government. Yeah. So always remember, whenever it is a criminal liability, the government will fight for you. That is the reason any criminal case you see, any criminal case, murder, or some dacoity or some kidnap, rape, or any such thing, generally, whoever has suffered will not file a case. The government will file a case for you. The government will fight the case for you. Because it is the government's mistake, because of which you lose confidence over them. So they will come and fight for you. This is a simple thing of criminal offense. Sir, what is civil offense? Civil offense affects that only one person. Only one person gets affected. If such things happen, that is called as civil offense, civil liability. Sir, for example, assume now you and me, we both entered into a contract. I told you guys I'll teach you. I took the fees also, and I just did a worst job possible. I did not teach you properly at all. Now, because of which, do you lose the confidence over the system only? Is it? Is it a grave thing? Is it something which is very, very big in nature, which you will lose confidence over the entire system, entire government? So here you are only affected. It is between you and me. So only you and me will go and fight in the court. Government will not come into picture here. It is our personal rights affected. Now such things are called what? Civil liabilities. Civil liability means where my right as an individual is affected. Generally what will come here? All your contract, breach of contract, loss of money, all this will come as civil liability, where I have lost something. So I will only go and fight. Criminal is where it is a grave, big thing in nature. So for you, your government will come and fight. This is the basic difference. So always remember, whenever there is a criminal liability, there is something called as intention, mens rea, which is looked into. Sir, now what is the meaning of mens rea? The word mens rea means guilty mind. Sir, now what is this guilty mind? I'll tell you. Listen to the example carefully. There was A, there was B. A killed B. A killed B. Now you tell me, should A be punished or not? Simple question. A killed B. Should A be punished or not? You tell me. Sir, A should be punished. Sir, what are you talking, sir? How can a person kill? Now remember, now listen. Again, continuation of story. A attempted, okay, A killed B, right? Okay. B actually attempted to rape A, because of which as a self protection, A had to kill B. I mean, whatever, whoever. I hope you got the point. So when one person tried to affect you, so you tried to self defense. You wanted to protect yourself. You killed. Now still, is A punishable? Now you tell me, is A punishable? Now, how did your answer change? Why did your answer change? You just said yes, and now you are saying no. Why? Because that is only called as mens rea. Did you have an intention of killing? That is called guilty mind. Whenever criminal liability is there, guilty mind will be looked for. Did you have an intention? That will be looked for. That is called as mens rea. In civil liability, mens rea is absent. Whether you had an intention, you did not have an intention, all that is none of our business. If the other party suffered, you had an intention, you did not had an intention, none of my business. You are liable. Civil liability, criminal liability, always the intention of that particular person, whoever has done that fault, the intention will be looked into. That is called as criminal liability. It is called mens rea. You just remember these two things. It is not there, but for understanding criminal liability, civil liability, we need to know at least what those things are. Yeah. Okay, sir. Because if someone tomorrow asks you what is criminal liability, civil liability, you will be like, who taught us law? Yeah, that should not be the case. Okay, sir. So now what does the law say? Now see here. Sir, whenever there is a misstatement in a prospectus, there are two liabilities possible. One is called criminal liability, other one is called civil liability. Sir, criminal liability, every person who authorizes such issue, if you have signed it, if you have authorized that issue, you are liable under section 447. You are liable. Have you signed it? Sir, yes, sir, I signed it. You are liable. Don't even utter a word. You are liable. Sir, just now you said mens rea, nonsense and all. So let us come to that. There is exception. Meaning what? If a person can prove if the person proves that such statement or omission, whatever you have given or whatever you have forgot to given, was immaterial. Or he had reasonable grounds. He had reasonable grounds to believe up to time of issue. He had reasonable time to believe up to time of issue that the statement given was true or such inclusion or omission was necessary. Yeah, so exceptions are what? Sir, first one, whatever information I have given or I have forgot to given, that is immaterial. It doesn't make difference. It doesn't make difference. For example, in my prospectus, I have not given my electricity bill. It is immaterial. I can ignore it. It doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make any impact at all. That is the reason I have not given it. So a shareholder tomorrow cannot come and say, how come you have not given the details of your electricity bill in your prospectus? It is immaterial. I have not given. So I will not be liable. Second one, Sir, whatever information I've given, I thought it is true and I thought it is necessary to be given or not to be given. I believed it to be true. I genuinely believed it. He had reasonable grounds to believe it. Now, how did you arrive at 400 rupees price? Sir, I arrived it after getting a valuation report. I had an evidence and that is how I arrived it. And that is why I had a reason to believe. So, I have a reason to believe whatever statement was given was true. But if you know, if you knew that it was wrong, mens rea, you had a guilty mind, then you are liable. Enapa, something understood, not understood. Yes, understood, all of you. Okay, a question. One more thing. Anything apart from these two grounds, anything apart from it, he is liable. If he is fitting into these two grounds, it's an exception. Any other reason, he is liable. Understood, not understood. Okay, now listen. There is a company called as XYZ Limited. It came up with an IPO for which it has printed a prospectus. Listen carefully. Sir, who has prepared the prospectus? The prospectus were prepared by the promoters of the company. The prospectus was prepared by the promoters of the company. Now they took all the reasonable care and all, whatever possible, they have prepared the prospectus of the company. Now they presented it to director. Director did not go through the prospectus. He just signed the prospectus. He has signed the prospectus. Now it came into light that some material information, whatever is to be given in that prospectus, was missing. They have not given a very important information. They have not given it. Now, the company law levied a penalty on this director saying you are liable on it because you have signed the prospectus. The director says, Your Honor, I did not know it. I believed in promoters and I signed it. Now, you guys tell me whether the director will be liable or not. Okay. Guys, first one, let us go with very simple thing. Let us rewind. Let us rewind. Yeah, we came here. And what did we say? Anything which is not apart from these two things, he is liable. If is it given here without knowing I signed it? Without knowing I signed it, is it given here? He is liable. That's all. Simple thing. Yeah. And second thing, the moment your signature is there, you are liable, guys. You cannot say, sir, I went, I believed. You need to read. Then why are you a director? Then why did I appoint you? You nonsense fellow. If you just say he believed I signed, that won't work. The moment your signature is there, you are liable. Clear? All of you? Make sense? Yes, in this given case, director will be held liable. Yeah. First thing, the reason is it is not covered under any of these given grounds. Clear? Yes, Pakka. Sir, now civil liability. Come here. Come here. So criminal liability, the company has missed giving some information. Whether something has happened to the other person or not is none of my concern. Have you missed giving important information? You are liable. I repeat, have you missed giving important information? You are liable. That's all. You just don't even check whether someone has suffered loss or not. If director had read it and for some reason he was made believe that it is true, when will he still be liable? Huh, Fatima? So you need to believe that yes, I need not give this information and it was necessary. You need to prove that no, such information or omission was necessary. You need to prove that, sir, this is why I did not give. Why did you not give? You need to prove that. Yeah. Or else I told you no, when you are driving two-wheeler, ayo sir, you will see an inspector. I did not expect that you were here, sir. Yeah, that may happen. Yes. Yes. Harini, it can be like, now say for example, I got a valuation report. Yeah, I got a valuation report. Now, whatever are the financials mentioned there, I went through. Whatever the valuation report is given, I will mention the same thing. Why? Because I believed in that registered valuer. And whatever he said, I believe that, and because of which I was satisfied. Yes, a particular information is to be given or not given. So I will not be liable. Sir, civil liability, section 35. So when will this come? Write down. Where a person has subscribed to securities relying on any statement included or omission. Guys, what do you mean by omission? Of any matter. So omission is basically where you have not included, left out. Yeah, if you want, you write down. When you're reading, all this will be like Greek and Latin. Meaning not included. Not included in prospectus. In prospectus, which is misleading and suffered loss, then the company and every person who, then the company and every person who is a director of company during issue or who has authorized himself or agreed to become a director. So basically, first person is a person who is already a director. Second one, he has given his consent to be a director and he has signed. I'm going to be appointed as a director and I'm signing it. So that is the second person. Yeah. Third person. Sorry. See. Promoter of a company. Quickly, who can tell me the definition of promoter? Not founder. You cannot say founder. Whose name is given in prospectus and annual return. Section is yes. Control the management. And in accordance with whose guidance the directors are accustomed to act. So these three conditions are satisfied. I am called a promoter. Good. How many of you, frankly, touch your heart and say, how many of you actually turned your pages and saw? It's nothing to feel bad. But how many of you actually turned your pages and saw? No one will agree, huh? Ah, okay. Okay. No, that's okay. I mean, as long as you guys are brushing up, it should be there around. Okay. Huh. So guys, so what did the law say? Sir, I have given something in prospectus. Okay. So first one, the first criminal liability. I have given a misstatement. I am liable. That's all. Someone suffered, not suffered, none of my issue. Not at all my concern. Yeah. Sir, second one, I have given a statement and Aditya relied on that and he invested 140 crore. And tomorrow that 140 crore duped. Everything came down. Aditya, I hope you don't mind taking your name. Yes, sir. Okay. Now, so all that 140 crore duped. So Aditya came and filed a case against me and my company. Sir, these people have given all nonsense information in prospectus. I believed in their statement, relying on your statements. I invested money and I suffered loss. Now the company and every person who signed it, basically every person, if you are a director or you have given your consent to become a director and you have signed that prospectus, a promoter, you are the main brain, and whoever has authorized the issue, if at all you are any other person, if you have authorized the issue, you and now, expert, I told you to stay away. Why did you sign? I told you to stay away. You relied on that unless and you signed. Come on, you are also liable. Yes, all of you. Ah. So now, what does the law say? And it is proven that it has been issued to defraud the applicant. It has been proved that it has been issued to defraud the applicant, then every person mentioned above very important, shall be personally and unlimitedly liable. Sir, what do you mean by this, sir? How much did Aditya lose? 140 crore. A, you above people, pay it. That's all. Simple provision. Why tension? Huh? He has suffered loss, no? 140 crore. All you five people, pay it. That's all. Simple provision. Huh? For this also, you will say company law is complicated. Huh? Simple provision. Huh? Same, Harini. Fraud, defraud, both are same. Yes, Varshini. In this five category, if you are able to fit them in any place, they are liable. Yeah. Okay, sir. So they are personally, guys, this is important, unlimitedly liable. Unlimited liability. No limit. You cannot say, sir, it is a limited liability concept. No, sir. Yeah, you cannot say that. Sir, for what am I unlimitedly liable? Write down. To pay compensation, to pay compensation to every person who has suffered loss or damage. Yes. So unlimitedly liable to pay what? To pay compensation to every person who has suffered loss or damage. Clear, sir? Okay, sir. However, obviously, there is an exception. Sir, what is this exception? In certain cases, you are exempted. You are not liable. Sir, what are those cases? There are three. So plan your page accordingly. A. Harini, see whether they'll pay from company's funds or their own pockets. Read that word carefully. What does it say? Yes. What do you mean by personally? Pocket. So you have to pay. Company funds will not be used. Yeah? Huh. Sir, exception. Okay. Exception, write down. No person shall be liable if he proves that he withdrew his consent to become director before issue of prospectus or prospectus was issued without his knowledge or consent on becoming aware he forthwith means what? Immediately gave public notice that issue was without his consent or that the statement made by expert was correct and fair to his knowledge. Yes, sir, what is an exception? Yeah, any person, he withdrew his consent to become a director before issue of prospectus. Sir, who is that? Can you see the second person? He has authorized himself or agreed to become a director. So now, before the prospectus was issued, he said, no, I do not want to continue. I will withdraw my consent. I take back my consent, whatever I have given in the second part. So before issue, you have taken out your name. No, Harini, I'll tell you. Even in second point, it is not a loophole. I'll tell you. Sir, prospectus was issued without my knowledge. Okay. Will your liability end there? No. After you get to know, you need to give. Fatima, that is very difficult. Yeah. If at all you are an existing director also, if you stop to be a director, you take off all the consent, it will apply to you also, but provided your name should not, it should not be included in any place. See, what does the law say? If you are a director of the company on the date of issue, you will be liable. If you have left the company, obviously you will not be liable. But it should be before the issue of prospectus. Yes, that one thing clear. Sir, second one, sir, that issue, it happened without my knowledge. I did not know it only. Sir, everyone will say, Ayo, police, sir, I did not know you were here. That is why I came without helmet. Can you say that? Obviously not possible. Then you came to know about it. You have to give a public notice. People, there is a public issue which has done and they have not taken my consent. I am nowhere concerned with that. So I am not liable if something happens. You have to give a public notice. If that is given, you are excluded from liability. Now, if whoever has given that notice, he will be excluded. If he has not given, you are liable. How will you show? Public notice, paper advertisement. You will know, no, the display of date will be there. You know, no, there will be display of time. All that will be there. You can prove that I have given a notice. I'll tell you what is 34, 35. I'll tell you. Now listen. Fifth one, that the statement made by expert. Now say for example, I made a valuation report. How did I make my valuation report? I made it based on the documents they gave it to me. So based on the documents, whatever I've received, whatever the statement I've given is true and fair. If the documents they have given is wrong, I am not liable. So the statement made by an expert was correct and fair. Sir, how will I prove it is fair? You will have the documents, whatever is given to you by the company for making that valuation. You provide that, you produce that, and you say, sir, this is what was given, and based on which I did this. So it is fair. I did not do any wrong. I did my job here. Then expert will not be liable. If you can prove that whatever you have done is correct and fair, and that is to the best of your knowledge. So these three are the exceptions. Yeah. Sir, now a person, will he be liable under section 34 or 35? If at all someone has suffered a loss, 35 will come into picture. If you have done something, if you have misstated something, straight away section 34 will come into picture. So it can be both or any one. Sir, you have given some misstatement, but no one suffered a loss. 35 does not come into picture at all. It will only be 34. Sir, I have given a misstatement and someone has suffered a loss. Then both will come into picture. That is how you need to see it. Clear? Any doubts? Any doubts? Now, write down the section 447. Write down the section 447. Sir, what is 447? Punishment for fraud. Yes, punishment for fraud. Sir, what is punishment for fraud? And guys, as I tell you, now the concepts will just be like a bullet. It will just penetrate. Now it is your duty to go and register those things in your mind. How revision? Yeah. Okay, sir. I am expecting at least 60 in all your exams. Minimum 60. Tomorrow when we meet each other, you need to be in a position to stand and say, sir, good morning, sir. You know, we met in the class. Don't be in a position to hide behind the pillar or run away. Yeah. Sir, punishment for fraud, write down. Section 447. There are two Major ones. So write down. Sir, left one. Sir, section 447 says amount involved in the fraud. Amount involved is more than. Amount involved is more than rupees 10 lakh or 1% of turnover of the company. 1% of the turnover of the company, whichever is less. Whichever is less, such person will be punishable with. So whatever fraud you have done, that fraud includes the amount of 10 lakh rupees or the total 1% of your turnover of the company, whichever is less, if it includes that, then you are punishable with two things. This section is very important, write down carefully. Imprisonment and fine. You are punishable with two things, punishable with imprisonment and fine. Imprisonment is jail. Imprisonment and fine. Sir, imprisonment, how long, sir? How long do you want to go? Law asks you. Minimum of 6 months. Guys, and one more thing. Sorry for deviating. Whenever I'm writing the word minimum, in all the places I'll be using the word minimum. In your exam, you have to make sure you write not less than. Don't write minimum 6 months in your exam. You need to write not less than 6 months. So wherever you find the word minimum, make sure in your exam you are writing not less than 6 months. Wherever I write maximum, that means not exceeding. Yes, if you want, write this in your first page of your book itself. Yeah, online students, even for you, recorded videos, even for you. So make sure this you have it. Yeah, always copied. Minimum is not less than, maximum is not exceeding. Okay, sir. Sir, minimum of 6 months, maximum up to 10 years you can be sent to imprisonment. Sir, fine minimum of amount involved in fraud. Amount involved in fraud. Maximum of 3 times of amount of fraud. Yes. Copied this part. So write the other way. Amount involved is less than, it is more than here, rupees 10 lakh or 1% of turnover of company, whichever is less, then and it does not include, or it does not involve public interest. it does not involve public interest, then punishable with imprisonment, fine. Sir, imprisonment up to 5 years. So it can be even 1 day, it can be 2 days, it can be 2 years, 3 years, maximum 5 years. Or, so it can be imprisonment alone or fine alone. It cannot be both, it seems. See next what it will say. Fine up to 50 lakh rupees. Or if you have done a very big fraud, both. Yeah. Okay, sir. Write a note. If fraud involves, if fraud involves, yes, if fraud involves public interest, then minimum imprisonment minimum imprisonment shall be not less than 3 years. Yes, sir. So I have done a fraud. What is the punishment for fraud? How much have you done? Sir, the amount is more than 10 lakh. Guys, more than 10 lakh. Yeah. So, sir, 10 lakh or 1% of turnover, then whichever is less, punishable with imprisonment. Minimum will be 6 months. You will be put behind the bar for 6 months. Sir, maximum up to 10 years. So, you can be behind the jail for 10 years. Fine. Whatever fraud you have done, that much amount only will be a penalty. Or it can be 3 times of the amount of fraud you have done. Sir, whatever fraud I have done, does it involve public interest? Meaning, have you cheated people? Then, now here you said minimum of 6 months, right? If you have cheated people, then minimum imprisonment will be 3 years. Yeah? Okay, sir. So, sir, if amount included is less than 10 lakh or 1% of turnover of the company, it does not involve public interest. If it involves, then again, come here, 3 years. If it does not involve, then punishment, imprisonment up to 5 years or fine up to 50 lakh or both. Clear? Simple provision. Okay, Tanuj, good point. Sir, is the fine paid to the government or to the people who have done, who have been cheated? Write down. This is in addition to repaying the actual amount. So whatever fraud you have done, you first repay that. And after that, this is the penalty. Now it makes sense. So fraud, whatever penalty always goes to the authorities. Clear? Yes. Correct. No. What Atira? What do you say? Shall we do fraud? Oh my God. Less only. No. 3 times. If I do 10 crore fraud, I just have to return 10 crore. 30 crore will be the penalty. And probably some 3 years, 5 years that I'll be sent to imprisonment. What maximum will happen? Yeah. Okay. Guys. कौन बनेगा करोड़पति? Ready? 2 less. Okay. Okay, listen carefully. कौन बनेगा करोड़पति? Listen. Okay, now listen, guys. Questions. There was a person called Mr. X. There is a company called as Okay. There is a company called ABC Limited, which is coming for an IPO. It has published a prospectus. Mr. X read this prospectus, but he did not buy any share. However, ABC company still got listed. After a month, Mr. X went and purchased the shares from the stock exchange. After Mr. X purchased the shares from the stock exchange, that is after listing, after a week's time, something happened and the share price crashed. It went down. Mr. X is now, he wants to file a case on the company saying that there were certain details which were given in the prospectus which was wrong. And he wants that company and the directors to repay whatever loss he has suffered. Now, you as chartered accountants advise Mr. X whether will he win the case or not. That is, will he get the compensation or not. You won't. There was misstatement in prospectus. He has suffered a loss. Man, what man? What? All brilliant people, huh? Sir, you can't deceive us, sir. Concept is here, sir. Yeah? Okay, listen carefully. The answer is he will not get even 1 rupee as compensation. Why? Why? See, this particular misstatement is applicable only when you have relied on the prospectus and purchased. Now go back and see the civil liability. You would have highlighted the word relying. Now you just went and bought the shares from stock exchange. Where was prospectus there? So in this case, Mr. X won't be getting any money. Clear, not clear? Okay, sir. Sir, same question. ABC Limited. ABC Limited got listed. Again, wrong statement in prospectus. Mr. X purchased it this time. Mr. X purchased the shares also relying on the prospectus. After a week, Mr. X sold his shares to Mr. Y. After Mr. Y bought the shares, again shares crashed. Mr. Y wants to get the compensation from the company saying that whatever statements were given in prospectus was wrong. Now advise Mr. Y whether will he get the compensation or not. Shweta says, sir, that time also you will get, now also you will get. Whatever, sir, they need to get compensation. Guys, why will you get confused, man? Mr. Y, did he read the prospectus and bring? Did he read the prospectus? Obviously, no. Whatever I say, you start thinking and you stop answering from your heart. Answer from your mind. Did he rely on prospectus? Stop saying, oh, Papa, he needs to get something. Yeah. He didn't rely on prospectus. He will not get money. As simple as that. Yeah. I hope you got. Mr. Y won't get any compensation here. Now, listen carefully. The next question, fastest fingers first. Listen carefully. Sir, there is a company called as ABC Limited. ABC Limited was being given dividends every year. They were in existence for 3-4 years. They have been giving dividend every year. But how they are giving dividend, they have not disclosed it in the prospectus. They are giving dividend every year, but how they are giving the dividend, they have not disclosed the prospectus. So they have given it in the prospectus that the company is giving dividend every year. Mr. X relied on the prospectus and he purchased this particular shares. After the company got listed, Mr. X and an entire world got to know that ABC Limited were paying dividend every year. Whatever details mentioned in the prospectus is true. They did not give any wrong information. Just that whatever dividends they were giving, it was not from the profits of the company, but they were using their reserves. So the company did not have profits, but they were using their reserves, accumulated profits or past profits. Using that, they are giving dividend every year. Now, Mr. X finds this as a material misstatement because the company has omitted giving some information. Advise Mr. X whether will he win this case or whether is it a material misstatement. It is immaterial. Okay. Yes, sir, he will win as he relied on prospectus. No, sir, he will not win. No, sir, the information is immaterial. Sir, he will not because section 34 comes into existence. It is immaterial. It is immaterial. Okay. So, all of you, whatever you said, yes, it's absolutely wrong. You also know that. Correct? We know, no, sir. Whatever we say is wrong. We know that, obviously. Huh. Sir, why? Guys, you tell me one thing. Whenever the company is giving you lots of dividends, whenever, yeah. Now listen, here X will win the case. Why? Listen, every year the company is giving you dividends. Every year it is giving you dividends. Then what is your assumption on that company? Whenever a dividend is given by the company every year, what will be the assumption on that company? It is making lot of profit, sir. Now, in reality, the company does not have profit. It is not having profits because the dividend is being given from the reserves. They do not have current profits because of which they are giving dividends from their reserves. Don't you think it will deceive the shareholders if you do not give this statement that dividend is not given from profits, but we are using our reserves and giving it to you? Now you only fell into the loop, right? You only fell into the pit. Sir, we thought the company is making good profits, but ideally the company does not have profits at all. So you tell me whether it is a good company or not. Is it a good company? Then it was a material misstatement. It was a misstatement. You omitted giving, you did not tell them whether from where you are giving this money. Yes, obviously. So yes, Mr. X here will win the case because whatever is given is a material misstatement. I hope it was clear. All of you, pakka, pakka, yeah, yeah. All of you, come back, come back. Okay, next to concept. Next to concept, section 25. Section 25, which talks about deemed prospectus. Sir, now listen carefully. Sir, you just said only three prospectus are there. Abridged prospectus, shelf prospectus, red herring prospectus. Now, why did this thing come into picture? I wantedly didn't discuss it there. I am discussing it here. Why? Now listen. Sir, whenever a company is making a public offer, now you know what and all to be included, what is the risk, what is the liability if you go wrong. After knowing all this, don't you think the companies also will start using their criminal brain to avoid all this liability? Won't they do? Sir, so much of risk, sir. I'll do something. I'll try to avoid this risk. Won't they do that? Possibility is there. Chances are there. Agreed. Now, section 25 is to cover those things. Section 25 law says, don't worry, Baba is here. I'll cover everything. If you are a criminal, if you are bad, I am your dad, says what company law. Now, see here what it says. Now, there were people. No, Shweta, obviously, it has a huge impact. You have dividend concept in your syllabus. I'll explain you what difference does it make. If you're exhausting your reserve, that means the company, now say for example, you're only spending money, but you don't have income. How long will you survive? You're just giving dividends. You're exhausting all your reserves. How long will you survive? So obviously it is a material statement. Yeah. Okay, guys. Now listen carefully. Now, after saying all this, now listen. There is a company. Sir, what did the company law say? If at all you are issuing shares to public, if at all you are issuing shares to public, you have to issue it only after giving a prospectus. Correct? Correct? All of you agreed? Yes, that is what we saw till now. Hey, come on, wake up. Slept? All of you slept? Now that is what the law said. Now listen carefully. Sir, company, if you are bad, now the company is bad. See here, what the company is doing. I will not issue shares to public. I will issue to another company. I will issue all my shares to another company. Now this company will issue the shares to public. So here I am not issuing shares to company. So law said, what did you say? If at all I issue shares to public, I have to give prospectus. Now I will not give prospectus. Now this company will say 100 things and it will sell the shares to the public. Now, yeah, now what is happening? They are taking an advantage of the provision. They are deceiving the law. Directly they are not doing, they are doing indirectly. So bad people are there. So company law says, hey, you bad people, if you are bad, I am your dad. Yeah. Now see what did it say? Oh yeah, Varshini, all this 100% possible. What if the same shareholders assume I incorporated one company? It will take me another 10 days to incorporate one more company. The same shareholders. I'll transfer all this to another company, and this company will sell the shares of this company to this public. So what I'll do, I'll transfer all these 50 crore shares, whatever is the IPO, to another company. Now that company will sell those shares to public. Possible, no? There, chances are there. Now see what the company law did. Yeah, write down. Sir, deemed prospectus. Now what is this? Any company who allots securities, if any company allots securities or agrees to allot means you are doing it now only. Agrees to allot means you are entering into an agreement that I'll allot you tomorrow, day after, or some other time. But you are agreeing. So you are allotting or you are agreeing to allot. Any company allots securities or agrees to allot securities to whom, sir? To a company or a firm or any other person. Basically, I'll be referring to them as third party. So any company who is allotting share to another person, that is a third party. Now, why are they allotting the shares to them? With an intention that, what is the intention? Why are they allotting the shares to the third party? Intention is that to further offer the shares to public. So I will allot it to you, you further allot it to the public. So now, how will this company further allot the shares to that public? A company gave it to the third party. Now third party is issuing it to public. How will it issue? It has to issue through at least a document. Somehow you need to tell public, right? Come and subscribe to my shares. So how are they doing? they are doing it through a document. Now the law says, then such document shall be deemed to be prospectus. Such document shall be deemed to be prospectus. Copy if you are not copying, I'll again come back. Copied. The top part copied. Yeah. Sir, now what if it is deemed to be prospectus? So what is the law saying? Sir, company is giving to third party. Third party is giving to public. How is it giving? It is giving through a document. Now that document will be considered as prospectus. Yeah. Advertisement. Yes, that advertisement is prospectus now. You are giving a WhatsApp message. It is a prospectus. You are giving a paper advertisement. It is a prospectus. Yeah. Now see here. Sir, what if it is deemed to be a prospectus? Then this is the main part of the section. Then the following shall be applicable. Sir, what will be applicable? Section 26, Section 34 and 35. What is it? 26, matters to be stated in prospectus. 34 and 35, misstatement. So all these things will continue to apply even on that document. Hey you, if you are bad, I am dad. That is what law said. You don't worry. This is how it will happen. Now there was a question. What? Sir, does that mean I cannot allot shares to a company at all? Whenever I allot a share to a company, every time should I again prepare a document, something like prospectus? Every time will it be called a deemed prospectus? Now, for example, recently, Reliance Industries, they were raising money from Facebook. So Reliance transferred shares to Facebook. Yeah, so any company transferring shares, allot securities to a third party. Sir, again, now all this is deemed prospectus. Huh? So law said, when will this be considered as deemed prospectus? When two conditions should be satisfied. What is that? Provided following conditions are satisfied. So when will that document become a deemed prospectus? When the following conditions are satisfied. What is that? Only two conditions. The first condition, such offer of shares was made to public within 6 months of allotment or agreement to allot. Or on date of offer. On date of offer, the whole consideration, the whole consideration in respect of securities, in respect of securities had not yet been received by it. Yeah, provided following conditions are satisfied, such offer of shares was made to public within 6 months of allotment or agreement to allot, or on date of offer the whole consideration in respect of securities had not yet been received by it. Yeah. Now let us understand these two conditions, what these two conditions mean here. See here, sir, there is a main company. Now this company is issuing shares to this third party. The law says from the day I have issued the shares to you, I have issued it on first, okay, I have issued it on 1st January 21. Yeah, you have 6 months time, meaning what? Until 31st June 2021. Huh, okay. So, sir, until 30th June 2021. Now, copying, I'll just leave it in the last. Yeah, I'll just explain it and I'll give it to you. You can write. Sir, company has allotted shares on 3rd September or agreed to allot shares on 1st September, 1st June, sorry, 1st January 2021. On this day, they have agreed to allot or allotted securities to this third party, the third company. The law says in this time, in between, you cannot further offer, further sell to anyone in the public. Sir, if I am selling it on 1st July 2021, then you are free to sell. It will not be considered as deemed prospectus. If you sell it within the 6 months to the public, the law says it will be considered as prospectus. So you have to hold the securities for a minimum period of 6 months. First condition. Second condition. Sir, forget about this 6 months period. Yeah, okay, I'll wait for 8 months. Yeah, what you say? On 1st July 2021, I'll sell it to public. So what? Simple. No, I'll wait for 6 months. After that, I'll do. So what? You know what the law said? Okay. On the date of offer, sir, the third party is selling it to public. On 1st July 2021, they're selling it to public. On that day, on the date of offer, have you paid the entire consideration to the company? Whenever you make the offer, have you paid the entire consideration to the company? On date of offer, the whole consideration in respect of securities had not yet been received by it. Yes, so sir, whenever the company has not yet received the entire consideration, the entire money is not yet paid, or from the day I have allotted within 6 months, they are allotting to another person, then such document will be considered as prospectus. Sir, what will not be considered? Sir, if at all I am allotting shares further to public after 6 months, and in regards to those securities, I have paid the entire consideration to the company, then in that case, it will not be considered as deemed prospectus. If you are violating these two, it will be considered as deemed prospectus. Understood this? If your question is, sir, why is this thing is there? Now imagine, guys, a third party cannot pay a IPO amount 14,000 crore. Can you imagine giving that for 6 months? How can you give so much of money? From where will you get IPO 50 crore shares. Now Zomato, 14,000 crore rupees. From where will you get so much of money? How will a third party pay? And imagine that 14,000 crore will be blocked for 6 months. Look at the opportunity cost. First of all, from where will you bring so much of money? That is the intention. Getting the point? All of you, just write off one thing here. If you have space here, yeah, to a company or a firm or any other person. Now, such deemed prospectus shall be signed by in case of firm. So if it is a partnership firm or in case of company, if such third party is a firm or if such third party is a company, now such deemed prospectus should be signed by them also. Who? If you are a partnership firm, then not less than half of the partners. If your partnership firm has 10 partners, then at least 5 should sign. Yeah. If you are a company, then minimum 2 directors should sign. Sir, who are these partners and directors? They belong to that third party. That is the reason I've taken the arrow mark from here. So they are supposed to authenticate the document. Now you know, if something goes wrong, they will also be liable. Clear? Harini. Now the moment you are considering it as prospectus, what does the law say? All the prospectus provisions are applicable. Now what is prospectus provision? Matters to be stated in prospectus. That means what? You need to include the promoter's details, director's details, financial information. You need to disclose everything now. So indirectly, this section is given so that the people won't do this. Clear? Okay. Okay, guys, that's it from today. I hope you guys understood. If any questions, you can have it. We can discuss tomorrow.